What would you do if you woke up hungover and found a penguin staring at you from your bedroom? This is the absolutely true story of three friends, one terrible idea, and a bird named Pippin who just wanted to get back to his soulmate. But before we dive into this wild ride, if you enjoy crazy true stories like this, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss another unbelievable tale. Trust me, this one gets even crazier than you think. Have you ever woken up after a night of heavy drinking and immediately regretted every decision you made the night before? Well, imagine that feeling, but multiply it by about 1,000. Because this is the story of Lachlan, a 23-year-old Irish guy working construction in Australia, who made possibly the dumbest decision of his entire life. It's November 2012, and Lachlan is living his best life in Brisbane with his flatmate Declan, a 22-year-old bloke who's equally as reckless. These two are inseparable, the kind of friends who enable each other's worst ideas. And on this particular Friday night, they're sitting in their tiny apartment, bored out of their minds. "Mate, let's go out," Declan suggests, already grabbing his wallet. "Just a few beers, nothing crazy." Famous last words, right? Within an hour, they're at their favorite pub in Surfer's Paradise, ordering round after round. The music is loud, the atmosphere is electric, and pretty soon they're joined by Brock, their Australian friend who's always up for a good time. Brock is 25, a surfer type with sun-bleached hair and a permanent grin. He's the kind of guy who knows everyone and somehow always has a story crazier than yours. "Boys," Brock shouts over the music, slapping Lachlan on the back. "What are we drinking?" What starts as beer quickly escalates to rum, and not just a few glasses. Between the three of them, they demolish nearly 2 entire bottles. Their judgment is completely gone, replaced by liquid courage and terrible ideas. Around midnight, someone mentions a bonfire party happening down at the beach. Without thinking twice, the trio stumbles out of the pub and heads toward the sand. The beach is gorgeous at night, with waves crashing against the shore and stars scattered across the sky. There are maybe 20 people gathered around a massive fire, music playing from someone's portable speaker. For a while, everything is perfect. They're laughing, dancing, drinking even more. Lachlan feels invincible, like nothing in the world could possibly go wrong. And that's exactly when Brock leans over, his eyes gleaming with mischief. "Oi, you know what's right there," he points into the darkness. "What?" Lachlan slurs, squinting. "Oceanic Paradise Marine Park. It's literally just over that fence." Declan's eyes light up. "No way, are you serious?" "Dead serious, mate. I bet we could just walk in. Who's gonna stop us?" Now let me tell you something about Pippin. While these three idiots are hatching their ridiculous plan, there's a small fairy penguin sleeping peacefully in his enclosure at Oceanic Paradise. Pippin is 7 years old, barely 13 inches tall, and he's never known anything except the safety of his habitat. He was born in captivity, raised by caring staff, and most importantly, he's deeply in love with his mate, Pearl. Fairy penguins mate for life. Once they choose their partner, that's it, forever. And Pippin chose Pearl years ago. They sleep side by side every single night, their little flippers touching. They call to each other throughout the day, recognizing each other's voices instantly. Pippin's entire world revolves around Pearl. But Pippin has no idea that 3 drunk men are currently climbing over the fence of his home. The marine park is completely dark and eerily quiet. Lachlan's heart is pounding, partly from adrenaline, partly from the obscene amount of alcohol in his system. They're actually doing this. They're actually breaking into a marine park at 1 in the morning. "This is mental," Declan whispers, though his grin suggests he's loving every second. They wander through the pathways, passing tanks and enclosures. Everything feels surreal, like they've stumbled into some forbidden dream world. And then they find it, the penguin habitat. "Oh my God," Lachlan breathes, peering over the barrier. "Look at them." There are dozens of fairy penguins, small dark shapes huddled together in the dim light. Most are sleeping, completely unaware of the intruders. But one penguin, curious and trusting, waddles closer to investigate. "Pippin." "We should take one," Brock says suddenly. Declan laughs. "You're joking." "I'm not. When else are we gonna get this chance?" And just like that, the worst decision is made. Lachlan reaches down and Pippin, sweet innocent Pippin who's never known danger, doesn't run. He lets himself be picked up, probably confused but not yet frightened. "We actually did it." Declan pulls out his phone, filming as Lachlan holds the penguin. "This is insane." They smuggle Pippin out of the park, 3 drunk men and one very confused bird. Back at the apartment, they take more photos, more videos. Lachlan actually quacks at Pippin as if penguins make that sound. The poor bird just stands there, his small eyes wide with confusion. Eventually, the novelty wears off enough that exhaustion takes over. Lachlan carries Pippin to the spare bedroom, sets him down gently, and closes the door. "Night, little mate," he mumbles, before stumbling to his own bed. Both men pass out immediately, alcohol pulling them into deep, dreamless sleep. Neither remembers that they've just kidnapped a living creature. Neither thinks about the consequences. And in the spare bedroom, Pippin stands alone in the darkness, calling softly for Pearl. She doesn't answer. She can't. And Pippin has no idea that his entire world has just been shattered. Morning comes like a sledgehammer to the skull. Lachlan wakes up with the worst hangover of his life. His mouth tastes like something died in it, his head is throbbing, and the sunlight streaming through his window feels like knives stabbing directly into his brain. He groans, rolling over and immediately regretting it as the room spins. "Never again," he mumbles to himself, the same lie every heavy drinker tells themselves. Never again. He lies there for a few minutes trying to piece together the night before. He remembers the pub. He remembers Brock showing up. He remembers the beach party and all that rum. But after that, everything gets fuzzy. There's something at the edge of his memory, something strange, but he can't quite grab hold of it. Across the hall, Declan is in similar shape, though he's already stumbled to the bathroom to throw up. The sounds echo through the apartment, making Lachlan's own stomach turn. Eventually, Lachlan forces himself out of bed. He needs water, painkillers, and probably a shower. He shuffles down the hallway in his boxers, rubbing his eyes. He needs to grab a clean shirt from the spare bedroom where they keep extra clothes in. He opens the door and freezes completely. Standing in the middle of the spare bedroom, looking up at him with round, confused eyes, is a penguin. An actual, living, breathing penguin. For a solid 10 seconds, Lachlan just stares. His brain, already struggling with the hangover, simply cannot process what he's seeing. This has to be a hallucination. Maybe he's still drunk. Maybe he's having some kind of alcohol-induced psychotic break. "Declan," he shouts, his voice cracking. "Declan, get in here." "What?" Declan appears, looking green and miserable. Then he sees Pippin. "Oh my God. Why is there a penguin in our apartment?" And then it all comes flooding back. The marine park, climbing the fence, the penguin habitat. Oh God, they actually stole a penguin. "We are so screwed," Declan whispers. While Lachlan and Declan are having their meltdown, something else is happening across town at Oceanic Paradise Marine Park. The morning staff has arrived for their shift, ready to feed the animals and prepare for another day of visitors. But when Jennifer, the head penguin keeper, does her morning count, her blood runs cold. One penguin is missing. She counts again and again, but the number doesn't change. Pippin is gone. "Manager," she shouts, her voice panicked, "we have a situation." Within minutes, the entire staff is searching every corner of the park. Maybe he escaped somehow. Maybe he's hiding in an unusual spot. Maybe he fell into another enclosure. But as the search continues and Pippin remains missing, a horrible truth settles over everyone. Someone took him. Security footage is pulled immediately, and there, caught on grainy camera, are 3 men climbing over the fence just after midnight. The footage is too dark to make out faces clearly, but the evidence is undeniable. This was a theft. The police are called. A missing animal report is filed, and in the penguin enclosure, Pearl wanders back and forth, calling for her mate with increasingly distressed cries. Back at the apartment, Lachlan and Declan are discovering just how utterly unprepared they are to care for a penguin. Pippin is clearly stressed, making small chirping sounds that break Lachlan's heart. "He's probably hungry," Declan says. "What do penguins eat?" "Fish, I think." "We don't have fish." They try offering Pippin leftover pizza. He doesn't touch it. They try chips. Nothing. Lachlan even tries giving him some crackers, as if a penguin would suddenly develop a taste for processed wheat. "He needs water," Lachlan says desperately. "Penguins like water, right?" They carry Pippin to the bathroom and place him in the bathtub, filling it with a few inches of water. For a moment, Pippin does seem slightly more comfortable, paddling around in small circles. But the look in his eyes is pure confusion and fear. "This is bad," Declan says quietly. "This is really, really bad." The reality is finally hitting them. This isn't a funny story anymore. This is a living creature, completely dependent on them, and they have absolutely no idea what they're doing. What if Pippin gets sick? What if he dies? They'd be responsible for killing an endangered animal. "We could be murderers," Lachlan says, his voice shaking. That's when Brock shows up, letting himself in with the spare key. He takes one look at Pippin in the bathtub, and his face goes pale. "Tell me you brought him back." We passed out," Lachlan admits. "Are you insane?" Brock explodes. "The marine park is probably searching for him right now. The police are probably involved. You need to get rid of him now." "Get rid of him how?" Declan asks. "We can't just drop him at the front door." "We could release him somewhere," Brock suggests. "Somewhere with water." They debate for nearly an hour, each idea worse than the last. Finally, they settle on Tollybudra Creek, a waterway that connects to the ocean. In their panicked, hungover logic, it makes perfect sense. They'll release Pippin near the water, he'll swim to the ocean, and somehow find his way back to the marine park. What they don't know, what they're too stupid and desperate to research, is that Tollybudra Creek is known for its bull shark population. They bundle Pippin into a cardboard box and drive to the creek. It's midday now, the sun beating down mercilessly. When they open the box, Pippin stumbles out onto the grass near the water's edge. "Good luck, little mate," Lachlan whispers, feeling sick to his stomach. They drive away quickly, not looking back. Pippin stands there for a moment, completely disoriented. Nothing makes sense. Nothing smells right. Nothing sounds familiar. But there's water, and his instincts tell him water means safety. He waddles to the edge and slides in. The creek is murky and warm, nothing like his clean, temperature-controlled pool at home. But Pippin swims anyway, calling out for Pearl, hoping desperately that she'll answer. She doesn't. Beneath the surface, a dark shape moves. A bull shark attracted by the splashing. It circles closer, curious about this strange new creature in its territory. Pippin has no idea what a shark is. He's never had to worry about predators. But some ancient instinct makes him kick harder, swimming toward the bank. The shark passes within feet of him, then loses interest and swims away. Pippin drags himself onto the muddy shore, exhausted and terrified. That's when the dogs find him. Two local retrievers out for a walk with their owner spot the penguin and their prey drive kicks in. They bark wildly, straining at their leashes, lunging toward Pippin. Their owner yanks them back, shocked and confused by the sight of a penguin in Brisbane. Pippin runs, his small flippers working frantically until he finds shelter under an old jetty. He wedges himself into the shadows, shivering despite the heat. And there he stays, alone and terrified, while back at the marine park, Pearl continues to call for the mate who will never answer. Back at the apartment, Lachlan collapses onto the couch, utterly exhausted. His hangover is finally fading, but it's been replaced by something much worse, crushing guilt. He keeps seeing Pippin's confused little face, those trusting eyes looking up at him. "We did the right thing," Declan says, though he doesn't sound convinced. "He's near the ocean now. He'll be fine." "Yeah," Lachlan agrees weakly. "He'll be fine." Brock left an hour ago, making them swear they'd never speak of this again. "Delete everything," he told them. "Every photo, every video. Pretend it never happened." But Declan, still not quite grasping the severity of the situation, decides to post one video to his Instagram before deleting it. Just one. It's the clip of Lachlan holding Pippin, quacking at him like an idiot. Declan thinks it's hilarious. He thinks his followers will get a kick out of it. What Declan forgets is that his Instagram account is public, completely public. He posts the video with the caption, "Wildest night ever penguin face," and then sets his phone down, thinking nothing of it. Within 2 hours, the video has been shared 40 times. Within 4 hours, it's been shared 200 times. People are tagging Oceanic Paradise Marine Park's official account. Local news pages are picking it up. And then something unexpected happens. Dr. Helena Chen, a marine biologist who volunteers at various rescue organizations, is scrolling through her feed when she sees the video. And unlike everyone else who's laughing at the crazy drunk guys, Helena sees something different. She sees Pippin's body language, the way his flippers are held tight against his body, the rapid breathing, the stress signals that only someone trained would recognize. She sees a fairy penguin in severe distress, being handled by people who have no idea what they're doing. And she knows with absolute certainty that this penguin is in danger. Helena immediately calls Oceanic Paradise. "I just saw your missing penguin on Instagram," she says urgently, "and I think I know who took him." She forwards the video. Within minutes, the marine park identifies Pippin. Within 10 minutes, the police have been contacted. And within 20 minutes, they've tracked down Declan's account and obtained his address. But there's a bigger problem. Pippin isn't at the apartment anymore. When the police arrive and question a very panicked Lachlan and Declan, the truth comes spilling out. They took him to Tollybudra Creek. They released him hours ago. HOURS. Helena, who drove to the apartment as soon as she heard, looks horrified. Fairy penguins can't survive in that environment, and that creek has bull sharks. A massive search operation launches immediately. Police, marine park staff, volunteers, and Helena all converge on Tollybudra Creek. They spread out along the banks, calling, searching, praying they're not too late. 14 hours after being abandoned, a volunteer spots something small and dark wedged under the old jetty. "Here I found him." Helena wades into the water, moving slowly so she doesn't startle him. When she gets close enough, her heart breaks. Pippin is shivering violently, his feathers matted and dirty. He's severely dehydrated, hypothermic despite the warm weather, and clearly traumatized. "It's okay, baby," Helena whispers, gently scooping him up. "You're safe now, we're taking you home." Pippin is too weak to struggle. He just lies in her arms, making the smallest, saddest chirping sound. The drive back to Oceanic Paradise is tense. Helena keeps checking Pippin's breathing, making sure he's still with them. When they finally arrive, the entire staff is waiting. Jennifer, the head keeper, has tears streaming down her face. But the most emotional moment comes when they carry Pippin back to the penguin enclosure. Pearl recognizes his call before she even sees him. She comes running, waddling frantically across the enclosure, making loud, urgent cries. And when Pippin is finally set down on familiar ground, the two penguins rush together. They press their bodies close, their flippers wrapping around each other. Pearl runs her beak through Pippin's feathers, checking him over, making sure he's really there. Pippin buries his face against her, finally safe. Every person watching has tears in their eyes. They're inseparable, Jennifer explains to Helena. Pippin hasn't left Pearl's side for even a minute since we got him back. It's like he's afraid if he looks away, she'll disappear. Meanwhile, back at the apartment, Lachlan, Declan, and Brock are being arrested. The charges are serious: theft, animal endangerment, breaking and entering, trespassing. Their faces are all over the local news. Their families back home are horrified. Their jobs are in jeopardy. 3 months later, they stand before a judge. The prosecution lays out everything: the break-in, the theft, the reckless endangerment of an animal's life, the bull sharks, the dogs. They show footage of Pippin's rescue, his traumatized state. Lachlan feels sick. He can't believe how stupid they were, how selfish, how they put a living creature through hell for a drunken laugh. The judge is not amused. "You three treated an endangered animal like a party favor," she says coldly. "You ripped him from his home, from his mate, and abandoned him in a dangerous environment where he could have easily died. This court does not take animal cruelty lightly." Each of them is fined 1,200 Australian dollars. But the real punishment is the community service, 100 hours each, to be served at Oceanic Paradise Marine Park, working under the supervision of the very staff they wronged. 6 months into his community service, Lachlan is cleaning the penguin enclosure when he sees them. Pippin and Pearl, standing side by side at the edge of their pool, completely inseparable. Pippin's feathers have regained their shine. He looks healthy, happy, loved. Jennifer notices Lachlan watching. "He's doing well," she says quietly. "Took a few weeks for the nightmares to stop. Yes, penguins can have nightmares, but Pearl helped him through it." "I'm so sorry," Lachlan says, his voice cracking. "I was drunk and stupid, and I never thought he was a real animal with feelings and—" "I know," Jennifer interrupts. "And that's the problem, isn't it? People see animals as entertainment. They don't think about the fear, the trauma, the bonds they're breaking." Lachlan nods, unable to speak. He finishes his community service 3 months later, a changed person. He's cut way back on drinking. He volunteers at animal rescues, and he tells his story to anyone who will listen, hoping maybe someone else will learn from his terrible mistake. Pippin and Pearl are still together 7 years later. They sleep side by side every night, their flippers touching. They call to each other throughout the day. And Pippin, who survived the worst night of his life, seems to have forgiven the world. Because love, it turns out, is stronger than trauma. And sometimes, the best endings are the ones where everyone gets a second chance. So there you have it. The absolutely true story of how 3 drunk guys learned the hardest way possible that wild animals aren't toys, and that every creature deserves respect and safety. Pippin got his happy ending, and Lachlan learned a lesson he'll never forget. If this story touched you, moved you, or taught you something, drop a comment below and let me know what you think. And hey, if you enjoyed this wild ride, smash that like button and hit subscribe for more incredible true stories that'll make you laugh, cry, and think twice about your next bad decision. Thanks for watching, and remember, penguins belong in their homes, not in your apartment. See you in the next one.